You can call me Mystic Mike because I predict these things.
Lerone Murphy takes on Josh Emmett this Saturday as the main event for UFC Fight Night. Lerone Murphy getting his wish, calling out Josh Emmett after his most recent fight and win over Dan Ige last October. So this is a good fight, good matchup between these two guys. Both of them very skilled fighters, very good on the feet. So I expect to see some hands exchanged and a really good fight between these two guys who've been in the UFC a long time. So Josh Emmett, 40 years old, getting up there in age. Hasn't fought in over a year. Last fight was in December, I believe it was, against Bryce Mitchell, getting that epic viral knockout over Bryce Mitchell that we've all seen. He's 5'6", with a 70-inch reach, and he's 19-4, so really good record. 14 fights in the UFC, spanning back to 2016. So very long career in the UFC. Fought a lot of really good guys. Ilia Topuria went 5 rounds with him, which is he wasn't really winning the fight by any means, but wasn't getting finished, which is more than a lot of people can say. And before that, losing to Yair Rodriguez, just kind of couldn't get past the kicks, just kind of getting beat up. It eventually got triangled. So good to see him bounce back against Bryce Mitchell, who again, very good fighter. Was able to kind of nullify him in the wrestling department and sparked him in the first round. So very good explosive striker, feints really well, can close the distance very quickly with his athleticism. Kind of rudimentary striking, or maybe just very fundamental ones and twos. Throws the occasional leg kick. I wish he'd throw a little bit more leg kicks. Rips to the body very well, but very tough. Can kind of show damage pretty easily. He gets cut open and kind of wears it on the face a lot in his fights. But again, very good fighter. Purple belt in jiu-jitsu, did wrestle at Menlo College, so been wrestling his entire life, so he is going to have the grappling advantage in this one over Lerone Murphy, who is 33. He's 5'9" with a 73.5-inch reach, so he's going to have a 3-inch height and a 3.5-inch reach advantage over Josh Emmett, which is going to be very consequential in this fight because I think a lot of it's going to take place on the feet. He's 15-0 at this time with 1 no contest. Had I think it was a draw. I think it was against Tukugov in his UFC debut. 8 fights in the UFC since 2019. He's on a current 7-fight winning streak at 145 pounds. Also a BJJ purple belt, but he can be taken down. That's one of the things about Lerone Murphy being from the UK. They don't primarily, focus on wrestling as much as we do here in America. He was taken down by Dan Ige, got taken down 5 times by Gabriel Santos and Amakwan Mirkani in their fight, and that Mirkani fight only went for like a little over 1 round, and then was taken down 6 times by Tukugov. But very good kicks, good spinning back kicks, decent striking on the feet. Maybe not the most power. I think Josh Emmett's gonna have the power advantage in this one, but I'm gonna have to go with Josh Emmett in this one, and I'm pretty sure he's a sizable dog, but I just think he's gonna have the power and the wrestling advantage. I think he can throw his combinations at Lerone Murphy and not really have to worry about Murphy shooting on him. He can really dig his toes into the mat, get a lot of power, and kind of overextend if he needs to, but leave himself open for takedowns that aren't going to come. He'll be getting more reaction from his strikes when he throws. You'll see that in Emmett's fights, especially like the one with Calvin Kattar. When he's landing, he's getting a lot more reaction. You can show just the physical reaction that his strikes get versus his opponents, just because he's got so much power. I think he'll put Murphy on notice early and often with his power and his combinations, and I think he'll just be able to be crashing in and throwing big strikes and kind of making Lerone Murphy a little timid, kind of like he was in his last fight against Dan Ige, who got some respect early by dropping him in the first round with a left hand. So he'll make Murphy a little bit tentative in exchanging and really opening up with his strikes. He's usually a pretty fluid boxer on the feet, throws decent kicks, but I feel like once he feels Emmett's power, he's going to be kind of relegated to 1 or 2 punch combinations and doesn't want to throw kicks for fear of getting countered, taken down by Josh Emmett, who will be the better wrestler and will have the wrestling advantage in this one. So I got to go with Josh Emmett in this one. He has more 5-round experience. I think they fought relatively good competition. But when you look at Josh Emmett, fighting Bryce Mitchell, Ilia Topuria, Yair Rodriguez, Calvin Kattar, Dan Ige, he's fought really good guys. Michael Johnson. he's fought really good competition. I would argue that he's fought better competition than Lerone Murphy, and he's only lost to very top tier guys. He is getting up there in age, which is concerning to me, and he does wear damage, like I said earlier, to where maybe the judges will count that against him and cause him to lose rounds, and he hasn't fought in over a year. So those are concerns of mine going into this, but I just feel like Emmett's got more finishing potential. He can dictate where the fight takes place. He'll be pushing forward against Lerone Murphy, and we saw him kind of get pushed back by Dan Ige, and Dan Ige having a lot of success in that fight, and he gets taken down a lot. He was taken down a lot by Amir Khani, was taken down by Gabriel Santos, who I argue won that fight against Lerone Murphy, and he took that fight on short notice. But again, Gabriel Santos is a savage. But I just think Emmett's going to have more success on the feet with his striking. Couple that with his wrestling and his even if he doesn't shoot takedowns, just the threat of shooting takedowns is going to open up his strikes. And he's very effective on the feet, feints well. He started to throw kicks a little bit in the Calvin Kattar fight later in the fight. I hope he opens up with those a little bit earlier. But I think Lerone Murphy, he's crafty on the feet, but he's got his holes, and he can be hit. He can be hit. He was dropped by Danny Ige. I've seen him get hit several times in a few of his other fights, and I just don't think you can't get hit the way that he gets hit by other people. You can't get hit like that by Josh Emmett. And I feel like Josh Emmett's going to have a huge power advantage where he can land on Murphy and hurt him, whereas if Murphy lands on him, I don't really see Murphy having the same effect or causing the same damage that Emmett's going to do to him. So I think Emmett gets this one done as the underdog. I think he'll be able to do more damage on the feet. He's got really good cardio. He's done plenty of camps and fights for 5 rounds, and he always has the wrestling in his back pocket to mix things up if things aren't going his way on the feet. So I'm gonna go with Josh Emmett. I think he can get the KO over Murphy, but if he can't get the KO, I think he gets this one done with the decision. Thanks.